Hey, this is Nicolosi, and in this video I'd like to showcase what's new in Mela 6.10. The changelog may not look as long as it usually is, but there has been a lot of work that's been happening behind the scenes. Specifically around the on parameter, it's been improved dramatically, and I'll explain why it's better in a second. But let me explain the setup I have here at first. I'm running Mela on my macOS as a standalone. We don't need a host at the moment, but as a reminder, you can run Mela on your iPad or iPhone, or use it inside a host as a AUV3 plugin. What I have here is a very simple preset. So it starts with MIDI in, followed by a simple chord, the MIDI processor, then MIDI to poly. Then I have relative pitch to transpose the pitch signal. It's bypassed at the moment, followed by a sinusoid oscillator with a shifted phase. And then I have phase distortion plugin. It's currently also bypassed. And then a pitch oscilloscope showing us the waveform, followed by an amp envelope and the volume to control the output level. And then finally audio out, sends audio signal to the main output. And I also have a simple LFO here. Currently it's not modulating anything, and we'll discuss that in a second. So the on parameter always had a binary state, on or off, and it would just, when it was off, it would disable DSP inside the module. And that means that when you brought it back, sometimes you would hear audio clicks. And that has been okay because the on parameter's primary use case has been just to try things out, turn the module on or off, and see how the sound changes. But with this change, it's more performance-oriented. What's happening now is that this parameter is no longer a binary toggle. It's a slider, which has it goes from 0% to 100%. While it may appear like a button here, you can still modulate it, and it can take values anything from 0 to 100%. And what it also means is that if I play a sound like now, as you can hear, it doesn't click, and that's because of what it does, it crossfades. So now I can bring in the pitch distortion, phase distortion, and it will do the same thing. It will just crossfade this module in and out. I can do the same with a relative pitch. It will crossfade the pitch. And the same goes with the modulators. When I turn it off, its amplitude becomes 0. So what's interesting now is that when the button is off, it doesn't mean the module has stopped processing. It's still processing the sound. You're not hearing it. And as soon as you turn it on, it will crossfade. And what's happening now, like if I turn this phase distortion on or off, it always ends up distorting this upside down cosine at the right place. So we're always getting this saw-like shape with these settings. With the previous version, every time you toggle this, you would get a different shape here. So this means also that if you have multiple oscillators, they don't go out of phase if you turn one of them on or off. And other thing you will notice that the modules no longer dim, and that's because to remind you that the module is still processing the sound. So now let's demonstrate the modulation here. So I have relative pitch here, the on button, and I'll set this to 100%. And again, with the phase distortion, I'll turn it off. And what this does, you can already see the animation, is that it's following this LFOs. And what it does, it's crossfading phase distortion as well as pitch. And let's hear what this sounds like. And as you can see, I could do the same thing with with LFO, I could just bypass it, and it just decreases the amplitude to 0. And again, it's you can think of this button as a amplitude from 0 to 100%. And when you turn it off, it just goes to 0. And again, this can be modulated. Another thing is that so this change has been applied to pretty much every module except MIDI processors. And MIDI processors at the moment behave the same way, but I plan to change that also. And while we're talking about the MIDI processors here, you will notice that the chord module used to also dim the disabled notes, but it no longer does that. That means you can adjust the pitch and then bring in a note. Also, like when you modulate a slider or a dial in Mela, currently you usually see an animation. There's an indicator that it's being modulated. Currently, these module on buttons don't have that, and I will add that in the later updates. And finally, regarding these on buttons, some of the modules no longer have the buttons because it's no longer relevant. Since all the modules are always on and they're simply crossfade in and out, it doesn't make sense to add to some of the modules. Like for pitch oscilloscope, it has no meaning to turn it off. So there's one more useful feature which I'd like to discuss, and that's you can now enter levels using percentages or decibels, and Mela will automatically convert. So if I want this oscillator to be to have minus 12 dB, I can just type minus 12 dB, and it will automatically convert to percentage values. And I can do the same with dB. If I want the amplitude to be 50%, then I can just type 50%, and it will automatically set it to minus 6 dB. And finally, I spent a few days updating all the modules, updating all the built-in help for all the modules, and they're now in sync with the latest terminology that you will find in the Getting Started guide. Okay, that's all for now. If you enjoy using Mela, leave a review on the App Store. For any questions or feedback, leave a comment below. See you next time.